Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I do have cinnamon in my coffee and I'm ready to go. And there's a lot of really good information out there today. I know the markets are down, but this is completely irrelevant to the big picture and what's going on. And I'm about to show you a lot of the big picture and the things that are going on. Everything seems to be, this is like a freight train going down the tracks, a freight train of good news for not just XRP, but crypto. And so, I'm sure there's a little bit of manipulation going on in the markets. I think they said in the market that Bitcoin just out of nowhere had just kind of dropped. And so I think that we've had there's in some of the digital assets, there's been some pretty good run-ups over the last few days. And so this is just kind of a natural part of it. I think that I personally believe that in terms of manipulation going on in these markets, I believe that every time, I think that until you see the Backed and the Fidelity and some of these exchanges that are Wall Street sponsored exchanges coming in, last I heard Backed was being pushed off. They didn't say when, but from January 24th launch date, but it's not going to be long because all the others are opening, Fidelity Digital Assets and Arisex, and all of these are opening. And so I believe, but I firmly believe that the people that are really pulling the strings right now, with a market just at $120-something billion, it's pretty easy to manipulate this market right now. It won't be as it grows and once Wall Street and all begins to come in. But for the time being, we're in an environment where, somebody out there has the ability to hold all this back every time they see it starting to run. But you can see from all indicators that this market is dying to run. You can just see it everywhere. Okay, moving along, I wanted to show you this. And these are kind of some of the bigger themes and some of kind of what I'm talking about, this bigger picture. This is from XRP, at XRP Crypto Wolf. 7 Korean crypto exchanges passed government security inspection. The 7 exchanges that passed the inspection are Upbit, BitHome Official, GoPax, Corbit, Coin1Info, Hanbit.co, and Huobi Global Korea. Great news considering that South Korea loves XRP. Now what's important here, first thing that's important to mention is that last year, South Korea pretty much drove the XRP climb. And I mean, when everything fell apart last year, a big part of that was because CoinMarketCap, what set it off was CoinMarketCap taking the South Korean prices out of the equation in their calculations because those prices were so much higher for XRP than they were in the US. And to this day, everybody is very suspect of CoinMarketCap for pulling that and pulling it when they did, more specifically. But the other point here is that after everything cooled off last year, what has been going on around the world is everybody had decided that they needed to get their regulations in place. These regulations are finally getting in place. These exchanges are finally getting the approvals that they need, and the things that could follow and will follow are going to be crazy because now that these people don't have to, there is that the uncertainty that was above all our heads last year and before last year is about to disappear, folks. And then here's another example. Thailand's finance ministry grants licenses to 3 crypto exchanges. Thailand has been doing the same thing as Korea and Japan and all these other places. They've been getting their regulations in order, and they're just now, right in time for 2019, everybody is starting to get the approvals necessary. And that's starting to move along, and that is huge. Excuse me. I got this next thing from Crypto Dash, at crypto_XRP. Sent me this, and this was just a cool visualization you should all go check out. This is a tweet from Dadoun, Edadoun. And this is just a visualization of the gold reserves of the countries around the world. I watched the whole thing earlier. It shows you how what it would look like in terms of the size of a human, but they take you through all of the different, and I think what they're showing you is the tonnage of gold reserves that each of these countries have, and it gets all the way up to the United States had the largest gold reserve. I actually question whether they actually have some of that gold, but that's another argument altogether. The United States had the largest holdings, and I believe, I'm trying to remember who was in second place. I can't remember, but anyway, you can go and watch this. I'm not going to watch the whole thing here. Moving along. Now, this is very interesting. Ripple protocol used to tokenize real-world commodities into e-metals can be bought using cryptocurrencies of choice. Now, this is interesting. I'm just going to read you this one part and just kind of give you my take on this. The BPG Group is a heavyweight company in the material refinery industry, which also deals with efficient methods to reuse scrap metals, and they are spread across Europe. And then on the first line, it says, e-metals are the next best thing that will be converted into digitized shares to represent real-world commodities like metals. And this is what I've mentioned here in the last few days. I've talked about how everything is going to be securitized or tokenized, whether it's stocks, bonds, you name it, real estate, and also commodities. And that's what this is about. Here it says, e-metals will purchase the real world commodity stocks based on customer demand and generate IOUs to represent each share. Customers will be able to use select cryptocurrencies as well as fiat currencies to purchase the IOUs. The IOUs will be backed one-to-one with real-world securities. And if you look down here at the bottom, it says BPG digital gold-backed IOUs, the XAU, are now issued within the Ripple protocol. So there you go, folks. This world that you're about to live in is going to be as liquid. And someone online I saw they compared it. I don't remember who said it. What they compared it to was, imagine that you're in a grocery store and your phone shows all your assets, and imagine that you don't have any cash on that phone, you don't have anything on the phone except, let's use this as an example. Let's say that you had the equivalent of one share of gold. You're going to be able to transact from that gold all the way to buying, say, the example I saw, a bag of apples in that grocery store. And it will flow in a very liquid manner because of digital assets. If you can imagine that your one share in some gold token flowing all the way to that cash register to translate into whatever currency is accepted at that time by that particular grocery store to buy that bag of apples. And all of those things are reconciled on the ledgers of all of these digital assets. That is the world you're about to enter. Okay, moving along. Now, this was interesting. Now, I don't think this is very likely, but it's worthy of reading this part to you. It's very interesting. Will the SEC approve a Bitcoin ETF buy-in action? Now, what they're talking about here is the government shutdown that the United States is in, with Trump and some of the Congress people fighting over whether or not they're going to build the wall along the Mexican border. And so here, this is what this article, the interesting part of this article. The thing is, the Bitcoin ETF can't wait. The SEC must rule on the exchange-traded fund proposed by investment management firm VanEck, blockchain startup SolidX, and Chicago Board Options Exchange, CBOE, by February 27, 2019. By law, it cannot delay any further. So what happens if the deadline strikes and there's no one around SEC headquarters to issue a thumbs up or down? Strange days become even stranger. It is technically possible, this is a quote, it is technically possible that it would be approved through inaction, says Teresa Goody, a partner at the law firm of Baker Hostetler, who specializes in securities, compliance, and blockchain technologies. The rule provides for automatic approval if SEC does not approve or deny the proposal within the time frame. And now they're going to give you the reality of most likely. But before you go filling your bags with Bitcoins, Goody, a former SEC attorney, says to take a deep breath. While it's highly unlikely that the government will still be shut down on February 27th, there may be the staff there to address it and issue either an approval or a denial. So you're most likely not going to still be in a government shutdown, but if you were, it's not very likely that this scenario would occur anyway. But I thought this was interesting enough of an article to show you anyway. Next, for those of you that did not get the email or are not Uphold members, Uphold tweeted this out a couple days ago. We've listened to your feedback and are excited to announce that verified members now have access to instant funding for their Uphold accounts via debit or credit card. Enjoy faster buying. Now, this is similar to what Coinbase did a while back. Used to, you would buy Bitcoins on Coinbase, and those Bitcoins would not show up in your Coinbase account for like 5 days. And that's kind of how it's been on Uphold, is my understanding. Now they're saying you can get them instantly. But what Coinbase did when they did this is, yes, your digital assets would be available in Coinbase instantly once they did what Uphold's done here. But you could not transfer those digital assets off of Coinbase. So I don't know if that's what Uphold is doing here or not. I don't know if you can buy them instantly and then instantly send them wherever you want to, like say to Binance to buy another digital asset. That's the question. Because I haven't tried it yet. Also from Uphold, this was interesting. They tweeted this on the 4th of January. I missed it. When first listed on Uphold earlier this year, XRP accounted for less than 10% of platform purchases each month. Over the past month, that figure has risen to 43%. Read more about the growth of XRP transactions by Uphold members. Now, this is a very obvious reason. Uphold started with Bitcoin and maybe a couple of others. When they add XRP, of course XRP becomes the dominant purchased digital asset because it's the greatest digital asset ever created. That's what we've all said several times. We all started by buying, oh, what is this Bitcoin thing? We see the Bitcoin thing, and before long, we end up at XRP, because if you study all of the top 10 or 15 digital assets, or any digital assets out of the 2,000 plus, you will eventually end at XRP because it's the greatest. Simple as that. And that's what happened on Uphold. Next, from Panda Ripple XRP, at Ripple Panda XRP, the list of 2019 Modern Consensus 100 most influential people in crypto. Number 8, Brad Garlinghouse. Number 9, Corey Johnson. Number 10, David Schwartz. Number 13, Chris Larson. These guys are in the top 13 people in crypto. 4 people from Ripple. And that's what this is. You can go check it out. You can go to modernconsensus.com, and this will be on their site. But it starts with Vitalik Buterin. It's kind of interesting. Every time I see this guy, I'm like, wow, he's just a kid. But it's pretty amazing. And then finally, I want to finish with this. This was interesting. And I don't have any beef with Charlie Lee or with Litecoin or with Litecoin believers. I'm not one, by the way. But this is interesting. This is put out by C3 Nick. Definite follow on Twitter if you don't, at C3_Nick. Something for Charlie Lee fans out there. Here's an interesting piece of information to look at. He told his followers to hold on for dear life while he began to sell. This is information you might want to know if you are a Litecoin holder. Over here, this is a tweet from Charlie Lee. Hold on for dear life. This is what a rocket ship to the moon feels like. That's on December 8th, 2017. He later tweets, later on January 16th of 2018, after he had sold, what I always heard was all of his Litecoin. To those that claim that I sold at the all-time high, I actually did not. I sold on 3 separate times. 12.8 at $96, 12.11. So anyway, he points out that he sold a lot of his Litecoin on 12.8, which is the same day that he's telling his followers to hold on. Now, this is part of the reason I love following C3 Nick and his information, because these are the kind of things that he finds that I never would find. But that is an important piece of information to know. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that the digital asset investor will continue to buy as long as this market is below 200 billion or so. I am in the buying market. So keep going down, market. I'm fine with it. I'm ready. This thing is, talk about a market that is primed to take off. Boom.